we're going to talk about the Apex event that happens on a weekly basis. Used to, this was kind of a quarterly event, and it was a multi-day event. I liked it better when it was that because it included data mining in there. I never data mined except when we had those early missions that made us do it. After that, I've always went and got it OPC because these guys that are into this loop, man, they would go OPC all the time in those systems, and you could get millions, especially during this event. I think the highest I ever got was 5.5 million. I missed that because I like having some spare data every once in a while. Rogue or outlaw faction or whatever. I've never been a fan of the Stella or the Stella loop. My Stella was a tier 3 until about maybe a year ago when my alliance decided to go into like this super pact and the game was boring, so I decided to do it. And I did it in a week. I went from like tier 3 to tiered out. Only thing I had to wait for was in the refinery stuff to get some parts here and there. And I only use it to grind Eclipse hostiles. Other than that, that ship's not worth anything. Before that, I would take my D4 and go in and when we had these Apex events and do that. And that was really the only time I ever even engaged with the Eclipse or whatever was during like an event or your battle pass when it requires you to hit those hostiles. But I will say I've re-engaged it once the X-Borg faction came in, and you can get these Stella parts relatively easy. So I've went in since. I'm pretty close to finishing the Outlaw research tree without ever scrapping a Stella. Well, let's talk about the event. And I'm going to tell you that if you have much engagement on this event, then you're wasting your time. As you can see, I did both milestones. That's what I do every week. I go in, I clear both milestones. Because this leaderboard event that they have here is complete junk. Okay, first place. We're talking about first place. Let's forget about the rest of them. First place only gives you 3,000 of the research material. That's not even a quarter pull for one day. So I watch these guys go crazy, do these all freaking day to possibly try to win 3,000 research materials. And these chips, we'll go get into that. There's junk there. There's nothing in this store that's really worth engaging past the milestone events. And we're going to go and see that now. Event store, Apex. Okay, for me, now if you're, first I'll go for the medals. If you're a Ops 30 to maybe 49, then this is, you can use these medals. But once you've passed the research in some of the other ones that use this, then you can see I don't even engage with this one at all. I'll use the materials for that goes to that for the crystal and the try, because it's a decent amount of try. Even though I'm in the kind of a bracket where I need trillions of this stuff, but 1.1 billion is not bad, and you get a few tokens. You get 200 million tokens and the crystal and all that, and you only get. I'm a 5-star player, so that none of this crystal helps me at all. As you can see, I'm still timing out from last week on the ore. Now the ore is worth getting here, and the gas and dilithium is worth getting here, but you can see there's a small amount of this dilithium. If this was 1 billion, then I'd be more stoked about using that, but it's not. And these loot credits, there's a very small amount. That's how I use these poker chips every the blue ones. That's how I use them every week, is to get a pull, and I'll get one now. And then a couple days I'll come back and get the other one. Now, I have one alliance mate that uses this to get these because he's always low on these badges. And to me, that's not worth it. I would rather just go ahead and use some of my faction credits and get some that way. To me, it's not worth doing the event for, or using the poker chips for. And then you got ones that you can get these officers. As you can see, the ones that matter are I've already got tiered out, so this is a joke. I don't need this. And this is like the junk of the junk. You've got this skin for the auger, which if you're in the 30s, okay, go ahead and get that. That's cool. But legendary these hijack chips are junk because you can't scrap them. And by the time you can, be effective at this, you should already have one of these 26 chips. And having this 26 chips that you can never get rid of is stupid. Okay, for me, these ship parts for 4-star. I need 5-star, so it doesn't even work. But let's pretend that I did need the 4-star. 400 for 60. So doing the whole event, I'm going to get 800 parts, or I don't know if it lets you do. Yeah, it limits you one, so you're going to end up getting 400 of one of the ships and 400 of the other. Not worth it to me. That's maybe one decent refinery pool. And sometimes I get more than that in a refinery pool of the uncommons. So to me, this is okay, but not worth all you have to do it. So what I do is I usually do the milestone events so I can get crystal or ore or gas or try peristyle or dilithium, and I'll get whatever faction credits. So I'm going to go ahead and pull this. So I got my 2. Okay, and I got 60 left over, so what is it? Yeah, I can't pull until next week, so I guess I'll come in and pull the ore and peristyle when my timer goes off there, or cooldown, or whatever you want to call it. But to me, this is a junk event overall, and going past the milestones is not worth it. And I'll show you, if you don't believe me, that I have a pretty decent research. Let's go into the outlaw tree. Remember, I'm a guy who's never scrapped a Stella. And like I said, I didn't even use the Stella until maybe 10 months ago. I always just used one of my warships, and usually it's my D4. And you can see I got all these stuff pretty high tiered. See, this stuff right here with the Stella, now that I got past needing parts to open up these things, these will never be done. But I will finish these 2 last efficiencies. As you can see, my ore's done, and so is my crystal. Now there are some decent researches in here, but to me, before the X-Borg, the juice wasn't worth the squeeze. Heck, what you have to do to get to those, like this hole affected all your ships, shields affected all your ships. Of course, the research for the crystal, and I think there was some. Yeah, here's some for early on, but you didn't even need to do any uh, Stella parts to get past some of these early ones. So that's, those I've done those long ago. And what I basically do with it now is I'll save these and I wait for the weekend events because I got bukus of 4-star stuff that I can use, and I'll use those tomorrow. Which this is a Friday that I'm doing the video, so tomorrow I'm gonna come in. I'm gonna pop that one. I'm gonna come over here and do the Shield Armada, the G4 ship repairs, and the other Armada event. The ones that I really want to get done are these back ones, and I just need to build up rep, and I'm doing that now to get my rep all the way up to where I can get to these. And you can see I'm almost done with these because I got 24.5 million in rep right now. So I'm close to getting these tiered out. And I'm not sure what the next milestone is for these, but you can see I've got all these maxed out, all the ones that matter. For the Sally, now, the only thing I ever use it for is to complete these milestone events. And when the battle pass requires you to grind Eclipse hostiles. I saw a guy yesterday using the Sanctus to do the Eclipse hostiles. To me, that's really stupid because the Stella takes hardly anything to repair. I can finish the event in one hull and only have about 15 minutes worth of damage. So it's really stupid to use anything except a Stella for the Apex hostiles. And I'm going to get into one of the things, the crewing stuff that I've been doing. I'm going to get into, optimum crews for different grinding. And if they would actually update this store and put better stuff in this store, because once you get certain things, like if you're one of the guys who want these skins, and I know there are guys that do, once all these skins are gone, they should put something else in there. They should add stuff all the time to make these events relevant. This is, to me, if it wasn't for these three right here, if it wasn't for these three right here, I would not even do this event every week. I would skip it. Because to me, it'd be like Swarm Sunday. I skip it now that I got my con completely tiered out. I don't need it anymore because the mats and that they put in there are stuff I can't use anymore. So it's an event that I skip every week. This would be an event I would skip every week if it wasn't for these three right here. And I don't mind getting some extra faction credits, but they're so small that to me, this whole thing is a time waste. And to me, the whole idea of you chasing this leaderboard for this little payout and for poker chips that really, unless you're just a really freaking low player, that they're worthless, completely worthless. So now, like I said, if this had like 30,000 of these research credits, then go for it, bro. But this 3,000, that's not even a fourth of a full day's pool. Not a fourth. And you see these guys go crazy, for almost 24 hours. You'll see nothing. I know I've been in 2 big alliances since they came up with this, and there'll be guys doing these things 24 hours a day. I mean, I finished this in less than 45 minutes. I tiered out both of these milestone events, and I was done. So basically, what I did is I went in, got my Stella. You cleared this Apex Hunter first. Then I ran 2 Armadas and use some transport credits on one of the outlaw officers, and I was done. And I'll still get 24th place, which is 500 of these research particles and 4,500 of these chips that I won't use. Now, if they were the blue chips, that would be nice, but it's the other chips that's for the junk. Nah, I just don't even care what I got here because of that. So I mean, I've tried to tell some of my alliance players that, hey man, why are you chasing this leaderboard? Look at the payouts. And there are a lot of events that you need to really look at the payouts. Is it worth it? Is it worth getting from 5th to 1st, or from 11th to 3rd, or whatever? Look at the payout. Don't waste your time on something that's not really going to advance you in the game. And this is not an event that will. It's just not. So don't waste your time on this event. Do the 2 milestones. Get the decent stuff in there. The mats and the resources, and get out. I promise you, if you do that, this will be a more pleasant event. So until next time.